What's going on, everyone? Luca Rosano here, back with another video, and I'm back in the studio. Hope you're all doing well out there. Hope you guys are all keeping safe as we continue to wait if and when the NBA season will resume. It's not looking good right now. I'm going to address that in a future video of what I believe is going to ultimately happen with the NBA season. But let's just say, as of now, it ain't looking too good, and it doesn't look like the season will in fact come back. So that is why I'm going to be bringing you videos, and I'm going to be doing videos like this, where I'm going to be doing a lot of speculating, a lot of prediction videos, and I'm going to be trying to put my finger on what's going to happen in the future when this is all done. I can't wait until it's all over, because I, like you guys, have been missing the Raptors very deeply. And all I have right now are Raptors Rewind games to watch to remind me how great of a time it was in 2019 when the Raptors went through their championship run. But other than those memories, what I do have to look forward to are all the great videos that I got in store for all of you. So please, guys, if you haven't subscribed and you are watching one of my videos for the first time, please subscribe, hit that subscribe button, and guys, hit post notifications. I don't think all of you are getting notified every time I drop a video, so please do me a solid favor, go and hit the bell right now so you stay notified, and comment Noti Gang down below so I know you are getting the notifications. Shout out to everybody who does that. Also, like this video and follow me on social media. Keep the conversation rolling. I got Instagram, Twitter, and I'm on TikTok doing some dope videos on there. So the reason why I wanted to bring you guys a video today is to talk about something that could happen in the future, and that is Bradley Beal and the Raptors potentially trading for Bradley Beal. Should the Raptors trade for Bradley Beal? Before I answer that question, I'm going to break it down. So Bradley Beal, guys, he is in the prime of his career. He is one of the best shooting guards in all of the NBA, but he plays for a very bad Wizards team. Let's call it what it is. Bradley Beal was actually balling in February. He had a 55-point game. Then he had a 53-point game. I mean, Bradley Beal was doing Bradley Beal things. When he is on, he is undoubtedly one of the best pure scoring shooting guards in all of the NBA. And I think he's only like 26 years old, so he's still in the prime of his career. The Wizards, they are trending in the opposite direction of winning. I mean, this is a team that's still ways away from once again being a contender. We don't know the future of John Wall. Again, missing all of this season. We don't know what his future is going to look like. It's safe to say the Wizards, they're pretty much going to look to rebuild and blow this thing up and look to start anew with their franchise. So, one of their biggest assets and one of their golden pieces that they could trade to get assets back would be Bradley Beal. Just because, again, he's in the prime of his career. He's healthy, and when he is healthy, he is one of the best shooting guards, period. So there are going to be many teams looking to make a trade for Beal, and teams are actually able to trade for Beal this summer. Recently, the Wizards and Beal did come to an agreement on a contract extension, but that doesn't mean that the Wizards don't have plans of trading Beal. I truly believe the Wizards will trade Bradley Beal this summer. Now, the question remains, which team will the Wizards trade Beal to? And there are going to be many teams in line and looking to get a guy like Bradley Beal. Teams that are having, issues with their backcourt or have a gaping hole at the shooting guard position. One of which is the Toronto Raptors, where, yes, the Raptors do have a backcourt when healthy of Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet. But Fred VanVleet, I think, is naturally a point guard. I don't think Fred VanVleet is suited for that shooting guard position for a long period of time. You look at a guy like Norman Powell, he could definitely fill that role, but how is he going to fare? I mean, he has had his fair share of injuries as well. So the Raptors could definitely make a trade for Bradley Beal. Now, what would that trade look like? This is the most important part of this equation. Who would the Raptors have to realistically give up to make the Wizards interested in a trade between them and the Raptors? Well, this is pretty much what a trade package would look like if the Raptors were to go after a guy like Beal. The Raptors would have to give up Norman Powell, Patrick McCaw, Rondé Hollis-Jefferson in a sign and trade because Hollis-Jefferson comes off the books this summer, OG Anunoby, and a first-round pick to somewhat appeal and get the Wizards to bite on this. Now, I know what many of you are thinking. I do not want to part ways with OG Anunoby. Well, let's look at this trade, and we're going to first start with some pros. If the Raptors were to pull the trigger on a deal like this, and this in fact happened, the Raptors are getting a solid shooting guard for its future. Bradley Beal isn't going to just be there for 1 season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, and then all of a sudden he's going to become bad. Like, this is, I believe, a really good shooting guard in the league, and he's going to be very good for many seasons to come. So if you have Bradley Beal on the Toronto Raptors, all of a sudden the Raptors are looking at a young, intriguing trio of Beal, Siakam, and Fred VanVleet, assuming we get a deal done with Fred this summer as well. That to me is a very good trio, guys. And that to me is a team in the Toronto Raptors with obviously pieces around that can compete in the East for a very long time. Because those 3 guys I just mentioned, they're all in the primes of their career. And I think they're going to all continue to get better. So that is very interesting to know. Yes, the Raptors would be sacrificing assets and future assets, but they would be getting a bona fide star in Bradley Beal, multiple-time All-Star, and they would be supplementing their big 3 very nicely moving forward. Now, let's look at the cons of this deal. And the biggest con is, of course, losing OG Anunoby, because he's tricky in this situation. You don't know how much better OG will be, and he really is the very big unknown in all of this. If OG Anunoby doesn't get better and he's kind of already hit his peak and plateau, then you would be dumb not to make this trade if you're the Raptors. But if OG Anunoby has that quantum leap in him, just the same way Siakam made that leap, if he has that in him and we have yet to see what OG Anunoby can truly become, and we trade him, and then let's just say Anunoby, he gets better defensively and then all of a sudden develops the offensive part of his game consistently, then that could be something that the Raptors would regret long term. But if OG Anunoby stays how he is now, I mean, the Raptors would be foolish not to parlay that and get a big time player in return in Bradley Beal. Now, another con is, of course, losing another bright spot on this team, particularly for this season. That's Norman Powell. Norman Powell, he too is healthy. But the thing with Norman Powell, guys, is his health. Now, he's shown us when he's healthy, he's arguably one of the best Raptors scorers, period. If he stays healthy and continuously gets better and continuously, develops his game, then Norman Powell is going to be a very good player in the league. So the cons for the Raptors would be not knowing how good Anunoby and Norman Powell could end up being, giving those 2 valuable assets up for a guy like Beal, and then later getting bit behind by how Anunoby and Norman Powell turn out. So what's the consensus here? What is the consensus when you parlay the present, the past, the future, the what ifs, and ultimately what would I do? This is how I look at it, guys. The NBA is driven on all-star players. The NBA is driven on talent. If you have a chance to trade for a very good player, I think you make that trade. Now, this is going to come down to player development. If player development is sitting there and saying, I don't think Anunoby could get much better. I don't know if Norman Powell can stay healthy to be relied upon. If these are the types of messages going through behind the scenes, then if you're the Raptors, I think you absolutely make the trade of sending future assets, future talent, future potential for a guy who's going to help you win now. Because you bring in a guy like Bradley Beal, the Raptors instantly extend its championship window. We don't know where Giannis is going to go in 2021. Quite frankly, if things go well contract-wise and the Raptors have some money to play with, Giannis could be on the table for the Raptors as well in 2021. You look at the Nets with Kyrie and KD. We don't know if they're going to coexist. The Boston Celtics are there. Yes, you got other teams like the Heat and the Sixers who are going to be there. But in my opinion, the East is going to be open for the foreseeable future for a team to come out. The Raptors, granted the pieces they already have, bringing in a guy like Beal, who is a proven competitor, a proven performer, could be what the Raptors need to once again get over the hump, get over the edge, and make it back to an NBA Finals. Now, Beal is no Kawhi Leonard, but he is a tremendous talent. And at the end of the day, I believe you draft or you trade for the best players. When the Raptors traded for Kawhi Leonard and gave up DeMar DeRozan, everybody seemed to hate it but me. Why? Because they traded for a guy who was talented at the game of basketball, and they gave up a guy who they were not sure where he was at that point in his career. This is kind of reminiscent of where the Raptors are now, where if they were to trade an OG Anunoby and a Norman Powell, you don't know what these guys are going to give you for sure over the next 2 to 3 years. You know what Bradley Beal is going to give you because he has shown us what he can be. Again, health obviously is the biggest variable in all of this, but assuming he stays healthy and assuming player development does what they do best with Bradley Beal, then the Raptors would have a shooting guard for the future, a bona fide all-star, a bona fide scorer, and a big piece, a part of its big three of, like I said, Siakam, VanVleet, and Anunoby, while not fully compromising the chance of going out and getting a Giannis Antetokounmpo if that opportunity presents itself in 2021. So what is my answer to the question? I gave you the long version of it. The short version is, if this is possible and the Raptors can make this deal, I would. Because you got to go after a guy who you think is going to make your basketball team that much better. I love Anunoby, guys. Don't get me wrong. I love Norman Powell. I'm a bigger fan of Anunoby because I think he could be very, very good. But again, we all expected him to make that leap this season. It didn't happen. When are we going to see that leap from him? Is it ever going to come? With Norman Powell as well, we know what he can give us. But can he stay healthy? The past says he can't. So when you add in all of that, I think you would have to make a bit of a gamble, just like you did when you traded for Kawhi, and go for it. And we saw with Kawhi how well that worked. So I fully believe that if Masai were to do a trade like this, then he is confident that this would work just as well. There's a lot that can be said about this. That is why I wanted to open the floodgates of conversation. You heard my take on this. You heard the pros and the cons. What is your take on this? Should the Raptors trade for Bradley Beal if that is a possibility this summer? Should the Raptors sacrifice future talent and what ifs for a guy who can help them win as soon as next season in an East, which again is wide open? There's no LeBron James. We don't know if KD is going to be just like he was before that gruesome injury. We don't know where Giannis is going to go long term. The East is open. This is when you got to make moves and go all in. And there's no one who knows that better than Masai Ujiri and this Toronto Raptors team, because they did that and it paid off. So it'll be interesting to see if they do that again. Let me know what you think of this, guys. Let me know what your opinion is. Again, hit me up in the comment section down below. This is an interesting topic that I wanted to obviously do a video on. And again, guys, please drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit those post notifications. Noti gang, I'm banking on you guys. Don't make this video flop. Spread the love, share this video. And guys, I will be back at it again this Friday with another episode of the Luca Rosano Show. And that is where I'm going to address what a potential canceled season, because it's looking like it might be that, what that would mean for the Toronto Raptors moving forward. So look out for that on Friday. I'm going to be doing some Q&A on that show as well, another edition of Ask Luca, so stay tuned for that. And that is it, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching. Wash your hands, stay safe, and I'll catch you all again in the next one. Peace out.